Hello everybody and welcome back to Markers and Monsters, where I am, as always, your humble host Colin. And I don't know if you guys made the good list or the naughty list this year, but hey, you're getting another video, and it's Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. This movie is famous, or infamous really, for being really one of the worst movies ever made, but in a delightfully insane way, which makes it a classic. Now, this movie is probably most famous, or you might have heard of it from it being on Mystery Science Theater, and that was during season 3 of Mystery Science Theater. And yeah, so it's the perfect kind of movie for the Mystery Science Theater treatment, because it's really bad but really goofy. As you can see here, I'm drawing Santa Claus, and this is in the beginning of the movie when the Martians send their robot out to kidnap Santa Claus. So yeah, this is when the robot, which I might add is the most realistic looking robot I've ever seen in any film. Anyway, this robot comes in to abduct Santa Claus and take him back to Mars. The whole plot of the movie is basically that on the planet Mars, the children are watching Earth TV, they're intercepting the signals, and they're not doing their work or whatever. The parents are kind of like upset by this, like, oh yeah, kids, they're spending too much time watching TVs. So they go see their great wise elder, and he says that, since all the learning on Mars is beamed directly into the brains of the kids and stuff like that, there's no imagination or creativity or anything. The Martian leaders decide they need a Santa Claus-like figure to inspire, wonder and imagination in the kids. And rather than just make up their own, they just decide to go to the North Pole and abduct Santa Claus, which points for practicality. I mean, why create your own when you could just steal one that already exists? So anyway, they send their death robot here to get Santa, and a couple of the other Martians go, and they end up kidnapping Santa and some kids, take them back to the Red Planet, and hijinks ensue. One thing I love about this movie is the title. It's not Santa Claus visits the Martians. It's not Santa Claus, spends quality time with the Martians. No, Santa Claus conquers the Martians. Yeah, he doesn't just go there for fun. He goes there with victory in mind. And he's not going to rest until the cold, dead corpses of the Martian leaders are at his feet. I'm joking around. Actually, that doesn't happen at all in the movie in any way, shape, or form. Santa Claus just goes to Mars as he's abducted, and then, is a nice guy, and that's really it. Spoiler alert, Santa Claus does not conquer diddly squat in this movie. But hey, that's all right. It's a terrible movie, but it's a lot of fun to watch. As I said before, the incredibly realistic special effects, both of the robot. There is an amazing real polar bear used in the film. Maybe I'll try to throw some clips on here at the end of this video for you. And just some other just really great special effects. You guys, you have to see it. Star Wars Rogue One has nothing on this movie. Anyway, this one was one that I had seen on Mystery Science Theater when I was a kid, and just it's hysterical and really goofy. So it was a lot of fun for me to just do this for, in the spirit of Christmas, do something fun. As you can see, I'm kind of coloring in now the robot. He's got that like metal sheen on him. It's basically his head's a bucket with some doodads glued to it. So, fill in the background here in that nice color blue, which I'll add is the same blue as Santa Claus's eyes. So the pupils of his eyes. So that kind of is a little artist trick there to get your eyes to track well. You'll see that top blue and it'll scan down to that bottom blue. When you can use similar colors in a drawing, I recommend it, or even the same color in different areas. It helps to draw your eyes across or whatever. So that's something I've always found very useful. But yeah, so I wanted to make Santa Claus look like he's just kind of sitting in his lab at the North Pole or whatever, toy workshop, and then this robot busts in through the door and startles him. Whoa, he's just enjoying his nice pipe there, and suddenly there's a robot. Okay. You'll see here at the end, too, I'm going to add in with the white gel pen some snowflakes and stuff blowing in through the door to kind of give that impression. Now, another interesting thing about Santa Claus Conquers the Martians is that it's the first time that Mrs. Claus has ever appeared on film or in a movie or anything. Mrs. Claus is Santa's wife, who bakes cookies, takes care of the reindeer, all that fun stuff. She was initially mentioned in like the 1850s in various materials, you know, as stories about Santa Claus and stuff like that, or appearing in books and magazines and kids' stories and stuff. So Mrs. Claus goes back probably, 100 years before this movie. This was 64. But yeah, the first time she ever appeared on screen in a film or a TV show or anything was anything live action was this movie. And this premiered just a couple of weeks, I believe, before the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the famous stop-motion cartoon that I'm sure you guys are aware of. It's a holiday staple and tradition. So she appears in that, but yeah, she was here first. All right, let's get into the inking process. Just to make this easier on myself, I'm really going to try to ink from the upper left-hand corner of the page and kind of go down from there, so I'm not resting my hand in the ink and smearing it around. Sometimes when I ink, I jump all over the place, but with this, it's just, I needed to start in that one corner. I didn't want to smear anything, so we'll go from there. So as you can see, it's pretty much a straightforward job. There's just a little bit of play there with the his googly robot eyes. Add some texture in there, and add some texture here into the mouth grate. I really have to wonder, too, if the creators of Futurama used this goofy robot as an inspiration for Bender Bending Rodriguez, because it sure does seem like it. When I was drawing this, I was thinking, man, he looks an awful lot like Bender. But then again, I bet you Bender is a mix of a whole bunch of different robots from a bunch of different goofy sources or whatever. But even still, hey, also watch Futurama this Christmas. It's good for the soul. When I first started this, the robot's hand was kind of all over the place, so I'm glad I fixed that up a little bit and gave it a nice new position there. Now, in the movie, the robot is basically a, I think they rented this thing from MIT. It's so realistic, but it's basically like insulation piping for the arms, and then he's got gardening gloves spray painted silver for the hands, so pretty easy to draw. Santa here was a lot of fun to work on as well, doing the hair and his white beard and stuff. Now, when you're drawing white hair and stuff like that, it's often good to add some texture in so it's not just a big white mass. And for that, I used the Copic marker was E40, which is brick beige, I believe, to just give those little highlights there to the fur trim of his outfit and his beard and mustache and stuff. And I'm starting to ink those areas in as well. Another weird thing I noticed when rewatching this movie is Santa has this very odd short sleeve Santa outfit, which I've never really seen before. I mean, yeah, you can see me adding the hair in there on his arms, but yeah, it's really odd. He's like, his sleeves are like, I don't know, pushed up or rolled up or something. It's very weird. He looks like he's going business casual for his Santa-ing in this movie. All right, the inking process is getting here to the end. Tried to give a little transparency on those curtains as well with just a little hints of color, so I hope that turned out good. Let's get that gel pen out and add in those snowflakes blowing in, like I said before. Just a couple of them, just to give the impression that there's, snow blowing into the house instead of just sitting there. Looking good. All right, let's get her signed up, and then we're going to take a look here at the scan. All right, looking good. This was a lot of fun to do. This movie is ridiculous, so if you're in the mood for some crazy, really, really bad, schlocky B-movie fun this holiday season, Santa Claus Conquers the Martian. You can't go wrong with it. And if you feel like maybe not sitting through all the badness yourself, watch the Mystery Science Theater version. All right, guys, that's it for me, and we'll see you for the next episode of Markers and Monsters. Thanks, everybody, and happy holidays. Bye.